Hey everybody, welcome back to AXED 5155, Youth Program Development and Management. So we're going to talk a little bit about the program of activities today. So we're going to use the National FFA organization as example for a program of activities, but regardless of what organization you're working with, whether it's the FFA or the 4-H or some other civic organization, this is a good guide to use. This is a good guide to use for your organization and planning out events for the year. So POA is simply a document that shows exactly what the chapter's goals are, exactly what that organization's goals for the years are, and an outline of the steps that it takes to meet those goals. So you want to plan out a calendar of events and go ahead and receive approval from administrators, from other stakeholders that are going to be involved in these events. So what the POA is going to do is it's going to create a plan and organize all the thoughts and all the processes that need to take place for these events to be successful. So you want to allow the FFA members or the 4-H members, whatever organization you're going to do as much planning of these events as possible. The reason I say that, students gain so much in experience and so much leadership, knowledge, and skills by working together, planning events. You want to help them and guide them while they're planning their events, help them think through the logistics as part of the teaching process. But for the most part, you want them to be able to plan those events out. And you want them to ensure that it meets the needs of the members, and it includes as large of the membership population as possible. That way, the bulk of your membership group is engaged, and they understand the need for the organization, and they're enjoying their experience there as a member, whatever organization you're working with. Provides a direction from year to year. Later on in the semester, as soon as we're done talking about program planning and program of activities, we're going to start looking at budgets. So once you've decided which programs, which activities that you're going to conduct throughout the year, you then have to look at your budget and see what money needs to be raised, if money needs to be raised, and how the financial picture of this leads to the development of your program of activities. Again, you want to give ownership to those students because it provides experience in planning, delivering those leadership skills and problem-solving skills. So there are really 4 different steps to this. So the planning portion is the POA, and putting those ideas and those ideas down on a document. Then you're going to develop that POA with all the steps that it takes to accomplish those. Then you're going to hopefully accomplish those goals. Then you're going to reflect back on what needs to be improved, and that's going to be the third part. The third module of this course is how do you reflect on your program of activities? How do you evaluate what you did throughout the year, and then based off the data that you collect, then go back and make changes to help the efficiency and the impact of these programs. So our course is really based off of these 4 areas of youth program development and management. So the step 1 is going to be to form student committees. So these student committees, whether they're 4-H members, whether they're FFA members, whether they're of some other organization, you want them to see the structure of committees and see the structure of working together in small groups to accomplish a single goal. You're going to take those FFA members and allow them to meet, come up with a plan, and then present it back to the advisors to where you can guide them on that plan. But that's all part of developing these student committees. Within each committee, let's say you're planning event A, and you have the event A committee, you want to delegate to each member within that committee who's taking care of the food, who's taking care of the speaking, who's taking care of this. And as you delegate within that committee, keep organized, detailed records of whose job it is to do what. That way, everything is organized and everyone knows exactly the expectations that are needed within that committee. You also want to establish a timeline, so you want there to be dates on a calendar schedule. That way everyone knows exactly how much time they have before the next upcoming activity. Once you have determined all those logistical things, timelines, committees, all of that, then you're going to start developing those activities and laying down the groundwork that has to be accomplished for these events to be successful. So, and then once everything is complete, you're going to want your chapter membership to approve that at a meeting. As you're planning goals, and this is true for youth program development, this is true for all sorts of areas of your life, always try to make goals that what we call SMART goals. So they're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're realistic, and they're timely. Also, instead of timely, I like to use the word time-bound. So you want it to have a very specific date when this needs to be accomplished. The goal is realistic and something that can actually be accomplished. It's measurable, so we can look back at the end when we're in the reflection process and say, yes, we met this goal, no, we didn't. And you want it to be very specific. That way there's no ambiguity. There's a lot of clarity in the process of exactly what needs to be done and what defines this to be successful or not to be successful. You want everything in there to be what is necessary to meet the goal, step-by-step process, list of order, and then all the W questions: who, what, when, why, where, how, and how much. So as you're making your POA work, you want the planning to be smooth and the delivery to be as smooth as possible. So successful chapters, every member should have a copy of the POA. That way everyone within those committees and the membership outside of those committees knows what needs to be accomplished. And there's a great deal of communication throughout the process to ensure that a few students are not taking the bulk of the load and then everyone else just attending the event. You want there to be some continuity between the students. Once you have finished all of your events, you want to come back and reflect on these events and what can be improved. That's like I said earlier, that's the third module here in this course, is how do we take data, how do we collect the data, and then evaluate that data to see how we can improve our youth programs, and how do we use the data that we collected to make decisions for the future. That is the end of the program of activities PowerPoint. There should be another video posted in Canvas that explains the program of activities assignment. Thank you for your attendance.